Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Zarina, and today I just want to talk about Black Lives Matter. You can call this my reflections on Black Lives Matter, and the protests have been going on for about 3 weeks now, or close to a month now, and everyone is outraged. Well, not everyone, some people are not, but everyone, a lot of people, especially Black people, are outraged and are out on the streets with their allies or with our allies to talk about these issues. And I just feel like there's a lot more that we need to add to the conversation. And I'm pretty sure some of you have also thought about some of these things. And I just want to put them out there because I think that it's got a lot more to do with what we can do internally and also externally, apart from just protesting, and how we can be able to come together to be able to face these issues head on. These are things that we probably haven't really given much thought, that we should be giving so much attention. So I'm going to be talking about 10 things that you should probably start thinking about during this period where we are all trying to protest and get to fight racism. I also would want to add that I am speaking to these issues from the perspective of an African, so a Black African, and I haven't lived the American experience when it comes to being Black in America, but being from Africa, which has majority of the world's Black people, I have also had experiences, and I also think that I have some thoughts to share on these issues. So I thought I should contextualize this very much, and also, as much as it's our struggle as a whole, as a population, I thought I should also let you know that I'm going to be speaking about these things from my perspective as a Black African. Firstly, white people or non-Black people, after years of oppression and after years of oppressing us and also taking and having a lot of power, are not going to give away their power. So for you to be able to get what you want as a Black person, or for Black people to get what they want, they must take. And by taking, I'm not saying go ahead and steal, because we all know how a lot of our cultures and our countries, and by our countries, I'm talking about African countries, have been ripped apart by some of these Western countries in so many different ways. So they take what they want from us, and we also have to strategize and take, because they're not going to give away their power. So the whole thing is, if you want freedom, if you want liberation, if you want economic stability, if you want to be able to grow in so many different ways, they're not going to give away their power. They're not going to give you anything in a way that would make you surpass them in any way. So take. That's my perspective. And by taking, I just mean you have to be able to work things out. You have to be able to strategize. In the same way that they came to take from us, we can also be able to work and take. Because we all know that, like, our cranium capacity is the same. Like, the white person's cranium capacity is not bigger, it's not much, it's not more than that of a Black person. But because of history, we have found ourselves here. And if you want to be able to improve from where we are, we need to be able to know that they're not giving us anything. And if you want something, we have to fight for it. I know that first point was uncomfortable for some people, but I would also say that how then can we take? In my opinion, we need solidarity. And by solidarity, I mean solidarity of all Black people. Even if non-Black people will not stand with us, we need solidarity amongst ourselves. We need solidarity among the Black race, wherever you are from, whether you're from the Caribbean, whether you're from Africa, whether you're from America, whether you're from the UK, wherever you are, we need Black people to come and stand together and to be able to have each other's backs, so that we can be able to work on these things and work it out. I do know that the African American experience is to an extent different from the African experience, for example, but we have a common goal because we have a common enemy, which is racism. And what happens is that people use racism as a tool against us, regardless of where we're from. So we need to be able to come together, and we may have different perspectives or ways of understanding and different experiences, but we should know that we need to come together to be able to fight this common enemy. And for me, we need solidarity. We may have different perspectives when it comes to analyzing these things or interpreting these things, and I feel like it's just a part of discourse. Sometimes when you have conversations, people have different perspectives. So we don't expect, for example, that all Black people would share exactly the same sentiments when it comes to certain issues, especially when it comes to public debate on certain issues. But if you're looking at the way forward and we're trying to find a way in which we can move forward, we need to be able to have that piece of us that really wants to come together. Because I mean, for example, I am African. If I go somewhere and I do not open my mouth, maybe you wouldn't recognize my accent or something. You wouldn't know that I'm African. And if I probably stood next to an African American, you probably wouldn't know. And all I'm just saying is that we face the same challenges. We face similar challenges. So we need solidarity. We need to come together and fight this cause together. You know, one thing that really struck me when I was at the Black Lives Matter protests in London was the number of white people there. Which, yes, I remember I was with two of my friends, and one of my really nice friends said, she's non-black also, she's Asian, and she said she was very touched by the number of white people who were there. And I was glad that there were white people there, but it's not as simple, right? So my thing is, during the protest, I started looking at the number of white people there, and I said to myself, if only just this number of people, or the number of people at the protest, would stand up in boardrooms on behalf of Black people, the world would be very different. So the point is, it does not matter whether you come to Black Lives Matter protests, you have to be able to speak up. And that is when we know you are showing us real solidarity. It's beyond holding placards. It's beyond just working with us. We want you to be able to show us a lot more, to be able to trust that you are really doing this for us. You are really there for us. You're really going to be there for us. And my thing is, we can all protest. Like, it's a great thing. We want to be able to make a statement. We like to have the numbers, right? So what happens next? So my thing is, we are in June. What happens by October? So would the protests still be ongoing? Or if the protests are not ongoing, what changes are you making to yourself and to the people around you, and even in institutions where you work? What are you going to do to make things different? Are you going to speak on behalf of Black people? Are you going to challenge stereotypes? Are you going to make sure that you're able to lift people up and be able to stop challenge people who speak down on Black people? Would you give us opportunities that we deserve? If all the white people who were at the Black Lives Matter protests, and those who are showing solidarity on social media, and those who were always trying to talk to their Black friends and show them compassion, if you all would sit up, if you all would speak up for us in boardrooms, I think that we would see a major difference. So yes, we want you to go beyond lip service. That's basically all I'm saying. Number 4, you have Black friends. So what? I get fascinated. Like, it just really beats my imagination when people go like, oh, I'm not racist because, you know, I have Black friends. I went to school with Black people. My neighbors are Black. Yeah, you know, I have Black children. Is that a valid argument to say that because of that you're not racist? You can still have Black friends and be racist. You can still have Black friends and not speak up for them. You can still have Black friends and not really understand their struggles. You can still have Black friends and be mediocre when it comes to speaking up against racism. So that does not really cut it, my friend. I'm really sorry, but that doesn't do anything. The fact that you have Black friends doesn't mean anything to me. If you speak up for me, then I'll know that you really understand what it means to know that you are in solidarity with other people, with Black people. You don't have to just tell me that you have Black friends so you're not racist. No. Like, it has become really common these days for people to say, yes, you don't just have to say you're not racist. You have to be anti-racist. And anti-racist for me doesn't mean you just sit down and say, oh, I don't support racism, I have Black friends. No, that doesn't cut it. Speak up for people. You don't necessarily need to have Black friends to not be racist. Even if you do not have Black friends, you must know that racism is wrong and speak up against racism. So that argument, please, is so invalid, and it's invalid on so many different levels, and I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. So don't even bring that up. Know that racism is wrong, and who cares if you have Black friends? Just fight racism. Help us fight racism, and don't be racist yourself. Now, this is a very important one. Let's support Black businesses. Buy from Black businesses. Buy from small Black entrepreneurs, buy from people in the Black community who are struggling to start their businesses and grow their businesses and maintain their businesses. Because what that does is that it feeds back into the same pool of helping to develop the Black community and develop Black people. And so please, as much as possible, try and buy from Black businesses and help us support each other. There are so many people who have wonderful brands out there, and we should be able to support them. And if you know of any good Black brands that you think should be promoted, you can just leave them down in the comment section. Someone might notice, you never know, and purchase something from them. So please make sure that you buy from Black businesses, and let's support one another to grow, because we really need economic liberation. We really need to be able to make it, to be able to get out of this whole situation. I just have to say that other minorities can do better. Other minorities can do better. So whether you're Indian, Chinese, Pakistani, wherever you're from, you can do better. There are lots of people who think that Black people's struggles are just Black people's struggles, and those people also perpetuate different kinds of racism against Black people. So if you're in the minority and you are still being racist towards someone in the minority, then you are being racist, like you are doing it against yourself, basically, because it will be done to you. I remember I was telling in one of my videos I talked about my first racist experience, and I mentioned that the person who was racist to me was somewhere in South America. She, under some circumstances, would be considered to be in the minority depending on where she is, and she told me what she said to me, and yeah, I don't even want to repeat it because it's crazy. So I mean, it sucks when people don't understand. Black men were like, yeah, until they got to this point. So guys, the fact that you're experiencing racism should make you understand feminism, should make you understand the struggles that feminists go through. So I always say that you do not have to be a woman to understand the struggles of women. You do not have to be a woman to understand the oppression that women go through. In the same way, today, you and I are saying that people do not have to be Black before they understand that racism is a thing. So is that double standard? Take time to reflect. And when we're talking about issues of genders, particularly when we talk about feminism, you guys go like, oh, it's a women's issue, women are doing this, women are doing that. No, if you're trying to fight oppression, check yourself. So as a Black man, if you're trying to fight oppression and you want people to join you, understand that it's the same way that all women, and Black women in particular, want you to join the fight against sexism and misogyny and patriarchy. So as we try to check other people, we try to check non-Black people. Check yourself when it comes to sexism and patriarchy. This is the most annoying one, and I am just trying so hard not to go overboard and also not to sugarcoat, because the thing is that this is really annoying when people start saying all lives matter. It's highly hypocritical, insensitive, and coming from a place of privilege. So when people are fighting against their oppression, you never really talked about how all lives mattered until people started talking about Black Lives Matter. So what's your point exactly? Is all lives matter supposed to be a counter argument when it comes to talking about Black Lives Matter? And for those of you who still do not get it, now I'm going to say this again, because I know that a lot of Black people have tried to explain this. I'm going to try to break it down as simply as I can. One, when we say Black Lives Matter, it means that we have identified a specific problem when it comes to Black people, which we are trying to fight. Two, it does not mean that all lives do not matter. Three, it does not mean that we do not know that all lives matter. Four, it only means that we are highlighting a specific issue that has to do with Black lives. So please get that straight. Personally, if you want to come up with this all lives matter argument, please don't say it to me. I'm not gonna, it just pisses me off. Don't say all lives matter to me. You can go and say it wherever you want to say it. If you still don't get it, or you don't want to get it. I think a lot of people really do get it, but they don't want to get it. Don't even start that whole all lives matter business, because you're just exposing your own ignorance. You're just showing us that you have no sensitivities when it comes to minorities, when it comes to oppression of other people. You're just showing us that you feel so entitled. You're just showing us that you are just really enjoying your privilege without thinking about the next person. When it's, say, Christmas or some other period when people are really not talking about Black Lives Matter and you feel the need to talk about All Lives Matter, you can bring it up. We'll support you. But don't dim our shine when we're advocating for Black lives. So get out of the way. Thank you. One other thing with this All Lives Matter thing is here in London, some counter protesters have come up trying to like protest against Black Lives Matter, and then they were chanting All Lives Matter. And while we are trying and protesting to protect lives, you are protesting to protect monuments. And it doesn't really make sense. And something just came to mind right now. A lot of the oh god, I'm gonna get in trouble. A lot of the monuments you guys have, even in your tourist sites or in your museums, are stolen from Black people, like stolen from all over Africa. And so I really don't get this whole counter protest thing. The next thing is teach children history and and all the things that you did to Black people and their ancestors. Teach children that history. But while I say that, I'm sorry to call this out, but I'm just also going to say that African governments also must make sure that they put a lot of history in their curriculum. Make sure that children know these things while they grow up, and as they grow up, to be able to appreciate what was done to them and be able to have a very good perspective of the world and understand their past. So a lot of these things, because of colonialism and all the challenges that we have been through, our educational system is sort of modeled along those lines also. So we have to make sure that we teach our children history. The West also has to make sure that it inculcates real history, true history. Teach the children the truth. Let them know what you did, and let them know what their forefathers did. Let them know why we have these inequalities, because what you're doing is that you're not only doing it for Black people, you're doing it for them, because then you're making them understand and appreciate their past. I don't know why you would lie about that. It's there. We know it happened, so why deny it? Teach them. Let them know. Last point number 10. This is probably the most exhausting one, but higher education institutions must do better. Universities must do better. Wherever they are, they have to do better. So make sure that you intentionally promote diversity on your university campuses. When you're doing research, make sure that you consider diversity. When you hiring staff, make sure that you consider diversity. When you admitting students, make sure you consider diversity. Content of educational material, make sure you consider diversity. And also make sure that you don't only celebrate white professors or white teachers or white heads. Celebrate those who are really doing the work. Celebrate people of color also, and not just Black people, because there are amazing people of color who are working in some of these big universities that we really do not know about. Celebrate them. Push out their work. Let us know the kind of research they have done. Do not only push out the research done by white folks, because that is wrong, and that is sitting on information, and that is not educating us enough. So please do better. And try to teach people the things that they have to know when it comes to diversity. Do better and let them understand that when it comes to knowledge, knowledge is not only in the head of one person or one race. Do better, because we all have different perspectives that we can bring up on the table. Do better. Do not hide behind, it's not only rankings that will get you up there. It is not only money. It's not all about that. It's not only about reputation. If you want your reputation to be that high, make sure that you are diverse. Make sure that you practice what you preach, because a lot of you higher educational institutions tend to talk to us so much about diversity. You talk about how we have to be able to consider different perspectives and stuff, especially when we are critically analyzing educational material. So do better. Make sure that you practice what you preach. Do better, and make sure that we're able to raise leaders who understand the differences and understand that we, even within those differences, we have to respect each other's knowledge, ideas, and perspectives. So higher educational institutions, universities, colleges, whatever, do better. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's been a bit of a rant, but I just had to do it. And these are things that we really need to reflect on. Like I said, these are my reflections on Black Lives Matter. Guys, let's keep this conversation going. We don't have to let it die this time around. We don't have to let it go away in the next 3 months, because we'll be here on the streets again next year if we do not keep this conversation going. Let's talk about race to a point that it's uncomfortable for racists to be racist. Let's push this forward to a point that when people are being racist, they know that there will be consequences, then they will stop. So like I said, all Black people all over the world, let's have some kind of solidarity, and let's support one another. And I think that we can get a lot more done when we are together, if we come together. But that said, we also do understand that we are from different contexts and we may have different experiences. I am for Black people. Unapologetically, I am for Black people. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm the nicest person you can meet, so I don't discriminate, but I am Black and I love being Black. And this is my identity, and I'll speak for my people, and I don't care what you think about it. And I'm just going to rant as much as I can, as long as I'm able to make sense and drive my point home. Even if I've said 10 things and you only get one thing from it, then I have done my job. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sorry for ranting. And yeah, let me know what you think about it. Please do subscribe, because I'll be bringing so many useful videos up. And like this video if it touched you in any way. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye.